attorney Bianca Calderón de Lachica. Thank you for joining on Lachica Poderosa podcast, all about trying to activate the inner Lachica Poderosa inside of you. Today, I have CEO of Brand Geniuz, Joshua Howard, with us today, and we are going to talk about one of my most favorite topics. If you know me, I love to talk all things marketing and branding. So I think Joshua Howard is like one of the best people to bring on to my show. So thank you for coming on today.
I appreciate being able to be here.
Yes. So tell us about how you got into the marketing world.
I've been in sales like for the longest. I mean, we can talk about me going door to door, asking people if I can rake their leaves, and then getting some of my friends to go and actually rake the leaves. And going on over to, used to work at Finish Line selling shoes in the mall. Just so
love that.
Somewhat, yeah. So I mean, I've had just about every type of sales job until I actually I struck on this one with an advertising sales executive. I applied for that, and once I got in there and learned about advertising, it was the first time my brain actually hurt. So it was challenging. And you think that you get involved in something that's if it's easy, you want to keep going, but
right.
I feel as though all human beings want a challenge at the end of the day.
Do.
So then I found that I'm being challenged here, and something about it just stuck with me. So working as an advertising sales executive, basically I'm taking people's creative and I'm putting it on TV. I'm placing it on cable and all these different places. And actually was talking to one client. I actually pitched to him an idea about a commercial. And they were like, oh, shoot, I love that idea. I'm like, oh, shoot, you like my idea? Is that, that's good?
That's all it takes.
So they liked the idea so much that we sold the commercial to them, and they wanted me to actually direct the commercial. And I'm like, man, I never directed a commercial before, but Josh ain't scared of nothing. I'm like, let's go. So I directed that commercial, and that was, you can say the rest is history, because I did another commercial for them, and then I started pitching to all of my clients commercials, and they all wanted me to direct it. And that's how I got into marketing. But how I got into social media marketing is eventually, they're like, hey, can you do social media? Do you do social media? I'm like, no, but TV's good. But TV's dying, as we both know. And in some sense, TV is dying. And unless you're on streaming or anything like that, social media is the way to go for our marketing. So that's how I got into it.
I agree with you on that. Social media, I think, is a great platform to kind of test your ideas, so to speak, because it's a free market where you can kind of get feedback, organic feedback from people who legitimately love you, your friends and family that are the first people to follow you, and then you get your own followers that you don't even know, and they start telling you, you know what, I really like it, and they start gravitating towards certain concepts. And one thing that you said is that you were a shoe salesman, or you worked at a
Finish Line.
Sold
all types of shoes.
So I want to tell the story about this. So me being a serial entrepreneur, I love seeing the game that people have. I love trying to pull the best out of people. That's something that I live and thrive off of. And so I find myself testing people in a way where I'm not trying to, but it just happens organically. Where I'm at a store, I pick up a pair of shoes, and I'm like, I like it, we'll see. And you working at Finish Line, I would say there's 10 salesmen there, saleswomen, and maybe one will follow through, and then the other one that's the superstar will be like, I like those shoes, but you know what? That pair too would be really cool for you. They're not afraid to take that extra initiative. And a lot of people don't even realize that the smallest things that you do every day can really open up opportunities for you. You don't even know it's a test. When I show up to the mall, you wouldn't even know I'm La Abogada de Bianca. I'm just wearing comfortable clothes, I'm wearing flip-flops or whatever, but I'm always looking for that next team member.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the hustle, and I'm looking for the drive, and I'm looking for the delivery and the consistency of, I think this person can actually make it in my field, because it's a very competitive atmosphere. And I know in the field that you're in, it is extremely competitive. I mean, everybody says they can do social media marketing, but that could mean, I can make a post for you. That's easy.
Right.
But can you really grow a brand and make organic content to where you help them explode? I think that's the X factor. And I've been looking for that for a long time. And we've talked about how you reached out to me and approached me, and certain rules that I will not say, because if not, I will be inundated with people trying to figure out what the X factor is to try and get into my circle. But you knew the code. Somehow you met it, You reached it, and so I'm so excited to work for you. So where do you think you learned that secret code? Let's not talk about the code, but where did you find that? There's not a lot of people who have it.
So I love philosophy. So me building philosophies after like studying kind of successful people. So for example, it's going to be a long story. I'm trying to make a long story short, but it's hard to. So I got to kind of go around. I grew up poor. And, obviously, like, that's nothing new for a lot of people. A lot of people grew up poor. But I actually sat down and asked the question, why are you poor, Josh? And I realized I'm poor, and, I'm a minor, I'm poor because my dad was poor. Yeah. So then I have to ask the question, why was my dad poor? Yeah. And that he was actually poor because his dad was poor. But is that the real reason? I realized that everybody's poor. Most people that are poor, at least within this country, is because you've made or somebody else made at least 1,000 bad decisions. Wow. So at some point in time, I asked the question to myself, what decisions should you make if you actually desire not to be poor? First things first, you got to decide not to be poor. So if you decide not to be poor, then everything that you do should go in that direction. And I saw an opportunity to help you out after, kind of asking that question. Okay, kind of going back, asking that question. Okay, what do you do to not be poor? The people that make the most money, how do they make that money? And I start to look at it. This is even before Elon and Bezos, but they're perfect examples. Yeah. The people that make the most money in the world are the people that help the most people. And the most ways and in a deeper way. Yeah. Like I can literally get anything in the world I want in about 2 days. I live like way South Texas. So it's not the one day. It'd be 2 days because Jeff Bezos made that possible. Yeah. If I wanted to go to another planet one day, or, I drive an electric vehicle because Elon made that possible. So I had to change my mindset and realize to not be poor, you must help people. That is 100% correct. Yeah. Or create a solution that a lot of people are looking for. I think that's the number one thing, is to be solution oriented and not be like, oh, there's a problem, I don't know what to do, let's panic and just back out. Yeah. For me, I've always been attracted to the solution, and I feel I speak to more successful business people. They have that same mindset where they're like, you know what? Yes, there's a problem, and I'm not afraid to hide from it. Let's figure out a way to solve it. I mean, I think the perfect example, which I find fascinating, is, your team rolled up in Teslas. Like 15 years ago, they probably would have laughed him out of the room. Like, you want to get rid of gas and have electric vehicles, right. But every day that passes by, I see more and more people driving electric vehicles. And I truly see that gas stations will eventually become just charging ports for electric vehicles, because it's like, it makes sense. Right. But if you're trying to just be within the framework of what we know and what we're comfortable with, it's gas of a car. Okay, we pump gas into our vehicle, and that's just part of life. But, to see Tesla just kind of break that mold, break that barrier, I really relate to it in so many ways, and I admire it because I want to do that in my own field. And just by talking with you, I feel you want to do the same thing, and I feel that power within you. Just for example, we had sushi today, and I'm like, where did Josh go? And he was talking to women who, little did he know, I know who they are. And a lot of people see them as intimidating. They're like, oh my God, they're like the head of this, and that. And he didn't even know that. But you just went for it and you made friends with them. And I think that is the entrepreneurial spirit that we need to activate within people, because so many people are just taught to just blend with the wall, blend with the colors, blend with the wallpaper. But the people who are not afraid to just kind of stand out and just almost be just free, which takes a lot of confidence and courage. But once you pass that hump, the world is your oyster. Yeah, I guess a philosophy that's helped me is I'm not going to ask you permission to help you. If I see someone that really, really needs help, I'm going to step up. I'm going to insist. And I don't feel anything from it. Like, okay, me being in sales, it's like, well, you're being a pushy salesperson. Like, if you know that someone just broke their leg and you want to go over there and help them with their leg, like, this person is hurting right now, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you one way or another. You may not want me to touch your leg. You may not want me to bandage it. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to figure something out to help you. And I'm not going to feel bad about insisting to help you, even if you push me away. So I'm going to do everything I can to go go and help people the way that I know how. Personal injury, I can't help anybody in that way. I mean, I can't fix your car. I can't fix your house. You know, I can't do this stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing that I know how to do, I'm going to do it. And it helps me not to have any fear of things because I know my intentions are good.
You have to be fearless. I see so many people who are talented. You know, in my career, I'm very blessed to where I've had people who have mentored me. I have people who are extremely successful be just naturally gravitated towards me. But then still, they could be making millions of dollars. And I'm like I'm a business major and I just come from a family.
If you guys can't tell, like she knows business. Like
yes, like I have that hustle in me. And you cannot teach that. Like I said, I'm a business major and nobody taught me how to hustle. Like, sure, I have concepts and principles and marketing ideas, but how do you, like I saw today at the sushi restaurant, how do you just like have the confidence to just go up to a random person in a random city and be like, hi, I'm Josh. What are you about? Tell me about yourself. You know, like I commend you for that because there's not a lot of people who do that. And I love that. And I've gotten a lot of clients by doing that. So I will commend you on that, but I do the same way, the same thing. You know, like I could be at Dillard shopping and then I'll find a way to just bring up like, yeah, I'm a personal injury attorney. If you ever need me, let me know. And you'll be surprised. Some of my biggest cases have come not from billboards, not from commercials, but from just shaking somebody's hand and letting them know what I do and letting them know I'm passionate.
Yeah. Put simply, like, I have a business partner who, I mean, for years just been networking. Everybody knows this guy.
They do.
My dude, Yao Sam. And just from having that relationship right there, it opened so many doors and people open up doors for doors. But like without having this connection from human to human, like it's
you cannot
where you gotta go.
You cannot put a dollar amount. I mean, you could see billboards, and that's a big reason. Let's talk about branding. People are like, oh, why aren't you like the Lachica law firm or Calderón de Lachica? I purposely picked La Abogada Bianca because in Spanish into English, it means Bianca the attorney. So that automatically tells you I'm Bianca. I'm on a first name basis with you. So that means if you see me at the store, which has happened, or, you know, I'm at a restaurant, they could be like, Bianca, oh my gosh, I follow you, nice to meet you. Because I'm not like, hi, I'm Bianca, like. I
was going to say that, especially within your industry, like the way that males do advertising in personal injury is terrible. And this is not you saying that. I know you would be like, well, you know, the diplomatic approach. Me, I'm just going to go out and say it. Like the approach they take is like, I'm going to go the violent approach. I'm going to bash them down. And like, no one wants to walk up to you in Walmart, you know, from a distance or I don't know, lawyers, y'all go to Walmart? Is this Target?
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh. That's a whole other segment of my favorite stores. But as a mom, I like good bargains. I like to go to Costco. I like to go to Walmart and
how many people walk up to you there?
It has happened many times. Or I'll have somebody DM me and they're like, oh my, and to me, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Because they'll be like, oh my gosh, I saw you at TJ Maxx the other day and I was so afraid to say hi to you. And I'm like, why were you afraid to say hi to me? And they're like, you were so nice. You were so cute. You were like, no makeup, just chill. And I'm like, why didn't you say hi to me? So I think that's like another bridge that I want to conquer is like, I truly love my followers. I want to get to know them and connect with them. And there are a lot who I have connected with and they have opened a lot of doors for me, or they have sent me a loved one and I've turned their case into $1 million case just solely on social media. So that is why I spend so much time, so much energy on developing my persona on social media, because we cannot undermine it. And like I keep telling you, and as you know, long past are the days of, oh, I'm just going to hire this attorney because I saw them on a commercial. Or, oh, you know what? So-and-so told me about them. No. Now we have Google reviews.
Right.
Now we have, I mean, there's just so many resources to where you just need to be very competitive and competent, but most importantly, compassionate and be real.
And yeah, because I mean, talking to a lawyer, I know, like, of course you're doing it all the time, but for the layperson, that may be scary in some sense. A lot of people have ideas about the kind of like the superiority of someone that's within law.
Yes.
Oh, they're on this level, I'm down here. So there needs to be some sort sort of emotional aspect
Right.
that allows them to feel safe. And to communicate safety, especially through social media, any way that we can express vulnerability it can show some sincerity
Yes.
as well, but then it also can show that's a person just like me.
Right.
The more of the, oh man, Bianca's just like me,
Yeah.
you know, Josh is just like me, the more that people can say
I
that,
agree. I agree.
the more likely they are to give you a call and, you know, feel like they can just really talk to you.
So Josh, what would be, I know you run a very successful marketing company. I run my own law firm. But at the end of the day, we are very much customer service based. What would be your biggest top 3 tips to take your business to the next level? What would you recommend to someone who's trying to start a business from the ground up? What are your top 3 tips?
Okay. First things first, take a personality test. Personality test is so important. Because now you can take some time to figure out your personality. And I thought that I was special too until I took this test, specifically 16 personalities. I took that and I realized, man, like my personality is a type. After I learned that, there are a lot of weaknesses that I have that it exposed and I just had to face it. Now I could have ran away. Nah, this thing doesn't even work. But I saw like, man, I'm weak in these ways. So, and then it also showed me that me being extremely extroverted, I needed partners. So I've had a lot of ventures. You know, as a solopreneur, I'm not suited to be a solopreneur. You are more so a mixture of extrovert as well as introvert. Yeah. So you have in both of those aspects, like, yes, you can be a solopreneur and be successful. I certainly cannot. So that's the first thing, like actually learning what your strengths and weaknesses are, because you need to build a team around those weaknesses, but then also to complement those strengths. So that's the first aspect. Number 2 is after you know your personality test. Now you talk about someone starting a business. Let's say you starting from the ground up and you just want to start a business, but you don't know what business to start. Mm-hmm. Or we can do that, or we can do if you already know a business to start. Which one do you think would be more greater value?
I think a lot from people who I speak with, they have the concept, but they don't know how to actually make it a legal, viable business to where it creates its own identity.
Okay. Here's a philosophy that's helped me too. A business is a made-up thing. There's no such thing as a business. A business is just a group of people that are working together to help other people. So if you can focus on the people aspect, the fact that if you help your first person, that's the start of your business. So find your one. Yeah. Find that one person that you can help. And after you jump in and get started and start helping that one person, now you can grow systems around, okay, this is how that went. Let me tweak this, let me tweak that. And then after you find the next person, it's continually evolving. Yes. Now, after you find that first person to help, and then let's just say you get a steady stream of people that you're able to help. And of course, like for it to be like actual business, like there should be some charging to some extent. But for example, a service-based business, don't be afraid to do it for free and expect that it's going to take some time.
I agree with that. And that's very intimidating to people who are, for example, I think my story is pretty significant. I was working for a multi-million-dollar firm where we worked million-dollar cases, and I was on a salary, and it was a beautiful salary. Most people would be comfortable, put their feet up, work their 9 to 5 and be happy. But the partners saw an opportunity in me, and they're like, we think you can market our brand and bring in more cases from other attorneys and get them to trust you with your case. And I had no idea how to do it, but I said, absolutely, let's do it.
Hey.
Yes. And sure enough, I did. And I followed the billboards. So for all the attorneys out there who are trying to figure out how to bring in business to their big firms, which I know there's a lot of you out there, follow the billboards, follow the marketing, because those are the lawyers who are getting the business. And I did that. And I would just show up to their firm. Some days they'd be like, goodbye, why are you here? It would almost make me feel like I'm a weirdo. But at the end of the day, they're like, oh, he can't see you for another 2 hours. I'm like, it's okay. I'll wait. Not a problem.
Yes, I've waited many times. So many people say, why are you sitting there waiting? Be like, yo, because I had nothing else to do. Like, I'm waiting on this opportunity.
Yes. But another secret that I learned in business school is you need to honor the gatekeepers. And who are the gatekeepers? They're the receptionists. They're the secretaries, because they know their attorneys backwards and forwards, or whatever business you're trying to go after. And they'll be like, yeah, there's some random girl trying to talk to you. Or they'll be like, you know what? There's this girl. She's really aggressive. and I think you'll like her. And I think I made an impression on them to where I got past that first hurdle.
Yeah.
And that really, really helped me. And I would literally book trips to San Antonio. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dominate and I'm going to go to all these firms and get their business. And I had no plan. I had no vision. But I came home to Papa Bear, the big firm owner. And I said, look, you paid a couple $100s to send me to San Antonio. But guess what? I brought millions of dollars worth of cases to your desk. And I would literally put the files on his desk. And he couldn't believe it. And it was like the most incredible thing. And then I started seeing, you know, the money that I was making for them and the impact that I had and how much the clients loved me and how much they relied on me. And I'm like, why am I doing this for somebody else? Even though I honor and love who I worked for, but I'm like, they loved me. So I'm going to start making that money for me and my family and build my brand for my Latino community. So that's kind of how I ventured off from working the $1 million cases for, you know, another firm and really learning from the best and just kind of earning my own stripes, so to speak.
Yeah, I see that you found who you could help.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you're helping the firm out, and like with businesses like that, everybody needs to win. So the end user has to win. The firms that you help out, they win, and then also the firm that you work for win. The more people that we can get to win, the better. We shouldn't be out here in business like to try to put other people at a disadvantage in any way. The goal should be we need to help as many people as possible. And,
I agree.
And that's what you did.
And you have to put people in the right roles too. You have to, you know, just for me, for example, getting to know you guys, sitting down, having dinners or lunches. Y'all may not realize it, but I'm analyzing your personalities, or anyone who crosses my path. I'm like, can they be a part of my team one day? I don't know. We'll see. And I'll ask like some random question and they don't even know it. Or I'll be like, throw out some random idea and they don't even know it. But if they execute it and they follow through, I'm like, that person is for me. Without giving too many hints. I think you kind of stood out from the crowd. You know, naturally every day I get emails from marketing teams, this and that, we can do this and that and take you to the next level and blah blah blah, or quien sabe que, how we would say in Spanish. But I don't know, y'all just stood out from the crowd. I'm not going to give clues how, but I do commend you guys on standing out from the crowd. And a lot of people who have been watching, and they're like, you know what, they verified my vision, which tells me like I have a good instinct on people. And I think that's another thing that makes a great entrepreneur, a fabulous entrepreneur, is they follow their instincts. But you have to have good instincts.
I was going to say, like, following through with your vision, your instincts are right where you knew exactly where it needed to be. So that's another thing about starting up a business. Like, if you want to bring someone onto your team, knowing a bit about what they do really, really matters.
It does.
Because, you know, you said that you had this thought, and then when you spoke to us about it, we kind of verified it. There's no way for you to.
You ran with it. And you came through in so many different ways. And so it's exciting. And I just continue to echo the importance of bringing on people in your team who think like you, who feel the passion that you feel, and who can just execute your ideas. Because without that amazing team, it's really hard to stand out. Because you could have the most amazing ideas and vision, but in 2022, we need to put it in social media. We need to put it in our marketing. We need to put it in our presence. We need to brand it into a tangible format to where people can digest. So I think that's something that I've recognized and I've learned, not only in business school, but following other amazing entrepreneurs and people before me and seeing their mistakes. And I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, as am I. Everybody be on the lookout. You know, Bianca's already established, but some of the goals that she has, I can't talk about.
No,
but they're huge. They're huge, huge goals. Like, you better keep watching her. You're going to see her do some big stuff like really, really soon.
Well, thank you, Josh. Again, thank you so much for following along. And anything about my podcast, I hope at least something triggers the inner Lachica Poderosa inside. So thank you for following along.